Good evening, everyone. Good evening. If I could get everyone to stand, we're going to start this up this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance. All together, hand salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two. Thank you. My name is Tom Waters, and I'd like to welcome each one of you to this meeting tonight. This is a town hall meeting. And before I get into some of my other comments, I'd just like to say that we have 5 people that I consider heroes of our community. They're the ones that step forward to say, look, we'd like to have somewhat of a change. We'd like the people to be able to vote for what they want to do. So we'd like to start a petition. 5 people came forward out of 47,000 to make that happen. I'd like those 5 people to just raise your hand, please, so people know who you are. These are the 5 people. How about a round of applause for them? What they did was go before the county clerk and say, we'd like to have a petition. Right now, the people of Pahrump, the voting people of Pahrump, don't have a voice as far as voting. They have representatives, but they don't have their own representatives that they voted for the town of Pahrump. If you look at the flyer that our committee put together, it says, we are asking the residents of Pahrump to sign a petition to allow us to put a question on the ballot. And I want you to understand, that's the only reason we're here tonight, is to put the question on the ballot. Put the question on the ballot so you can vote yes or no of what you want. Should Pahrump return to the town board form of government via the ballot initiative? Anyone that would like to be one of the 5 representatives of the nonpartisan Pahrump Town Board will run and be elected by the people of Pahrump. At the same time, the question to implement the town board form of government is placed on the ballot. We want to clarify some of the things that are misinformation that's going around. That's what the committee is going to do tonight. I just wanted to introduce you to it, let you know they're not here to say you've got to vote tonight for a town board. That's not what they're talking about. All they want you to do is to be able to vote yes or no by putting it on the ballot. That's why we need the ballots. That's why we need the signatures on the petitions. You'll hear more about that as we go on. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ski, and Ski has some very important words for you to help us in our endeavor to continue from where we are.
All right, just to clear it up, I've already been asked this about 10 times. No, I'm not auctioning off anything tonight. Okay, I just want to take a quick minute. I've been in Pahrump 23 years, okay? I'm not here to convince you or anybody in town of Pahrump that we should have a town board or that we shouldn't. The only thing I'm going to ask of everybody is keep an open mind. If you're going to talk to other people about it, make sure you talk in facts. You know, it's so easy. To me, one of the reasons, and you know, you can look at financials, this and that, there's several reasons, but me personally, and I have a right in the United States of America to say whatever I feel like saying. And if anybody has a problem with that, you all know me pretty well. I'll listen to you. The problem I have is when we had the town board, somehow it got completely out of control. It was quite unprofessional. It just, long story short, my opinion, it got out of control. I think now we're at a point in life that if we decided to have a town board, then things would be different. This is 2020. Oh, sorry. No, I still got good memory. You know, it's 2025, okay? If we can't be grown-ups and we can't conduct ourselves professionally, then we got a problem. But it's also our responsibility as citizens of the town of Pahrump to the minute we see anything start going south, stop it right then and there. You know, there's advantages, there's disadvantages. My personal opinion is I would feel much better if I had some direct input on what happens in the town of Pahrump. You know, you folks that don't know me and those that do, I've been doing fundraising. You'll understand where I'm coming with this in a second. I've been doing fundraising here for almost 18 years. We've never charged a penny. And between make beds for kids, the hospice, no to abuse, CASA, this and that, we just finished the high school auction, brought them in $20,000 selling cakes and cookies. There's a lot of good people out there. All we got to do is act professional, provide people with facts. It's easy to switch over into personal feelings and opinions. To me, I'm not going to try to talk you into, no, we don't need a town board. If you say, well, Ski, would you mind telling me why you feel that we should? That's it. If you tell me, well, no, I'm going to vote against it, we're still going to be friends, but I am adamant on us having a say in things that we do with government. That's all I'm asking for. So if there's anything, questions I can answer for you out of longevity, you might want to hurry up. I'm getting older. But like I say, folks, I just want to make it clear. You know, there's a lot of things that go on in Pahrump that this one accuses that one accuses this one. You know what? That's all a bunch of To me, let's be adults. Let's treat each other with respect. You vote for what you want to vote for, and I'll support you. I'll vote for what I want to vote for, and you support me. The only thing I'm asking is we let the 47,000 people in Pahrump decide. If 500 people vote yes and 46,500 vote no, I'm happy because it was the voice of the community, not the voice of people grandstanding and this and that. I mean, that's the down and dirty to it. So I think I've far exceeded my 5 minutes, but I like to talk a lot. I'm used to it, right? Oh, before I forget, we have a 50-50 back there, was self-explanatory. You know, to do what we're trying to do here costs a little money. Right now, we're all chipping out of pocket. If you feel like getting involved in it, or you want to drop a quarter in the donation jar, it'd help a little bit. But other than that, I appreciate you folks being in here. I see a lot of good people sitting out there, and I just want to make it perfectly clear where I'm coming from. This way, that way, it's whatever the 47,000 people want. And they have a right, we have a right to be afforded correct information, not a bunch of crap. So everybody provides the right information. It goes on the ballot, yes or no. Like I say, that 46.5 against 500, it is what it is. But what it is the voice of the community. You know? That's all I got to say. Thank you. Michelle, you're up, kiddo.
Thanks, Steve. So I'd just like to build on what Ski had to say. I really hope this evening we can have no negativity. Stating facts is great. The last town board lasted for 40 years serving the community. In the end, it was dissolved, but for 40 years it served our town and the citizens of our town. Yes, I'm on the VEA board. Discussing what may or may not happen, or what may or may not have happened in the past isn't positive. So I'm hoping that we can just talk about, again, getting it on the ballot. And so Cecilia or Tina, any of you would like to talk at this time? No? So if we can have and I'm going to have Beth talk now. I do not talk as long as Ski, let me tell you. Beth is going to talk, and then we will be taking questions from the members.
Thank you, Michelle. I would like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. I really appreciate the time you took. We are going to be taking questions after my little speech here. I would like to thank the entire committee for all of the work they've done. Tina Bond-Kuglin, back in the back, she in the red hat, she's handling our petition, getting them notarized, and that's going to be a heck of a job because there's going to be a lot of papers for her to notarize. And then we have Cecilia Thomas. She's in the back row. Stand up, please, so people see you. There you go. And she's been helping out with the communications that have been going on in the community. Thank you, Cecilia. And then we have Richard, I forget your last name, Goldstein. I don't know why I keep thinking Steen Gold. I just keep thinking that. Anyway, Richard just recently joined our team, but he's been very, very helpful in coming up with some ideas, also with providing information from the previous town board. And then we have Michelle, how do you say your last name? Michelle Caird, who is on the VEA board, and she has been instrumental in helping us because when we do have a new town board, she's writing the ordinance that will make the town board active in our area here. And then myself, I am Beth Borisevich. You guys might have seen me at the town board meetings. I'm pretty vocal about some of the things. I'm the one that let everybody know about meta-waste. I also let people know about the glove factory, a whole bunch of other stuff that I put it out there because you guys need to know. This is our town, my town, and we need to take care of it. So here's my little speech, and there's some things in here that you might not know of. In a town, we are 80% of the entire county of Nye County. We should have everything here the best that we could get. However, I don't think we have the best of a lot of stuff. A town is closer to the people, and the local governments operate in smaller areas, so they understand the needs and problems of local people better. Quick decision making, they can make decisions faster than the central government, which is our commissioners, because their scope is limited to local issues. So that includes the fire department. They had to wait a long time to get some radios and stuff. That includes the parks, the Simpkin Park thing, I'll be talking about that. The fairgrounds, which is really, really, really a big thing. The cemetery and the swimming pool. Although people don't think those are important, they are. They're important to the value of our life. I mean, kids want to go swimming, they want to go to the park, and they just said, no, we're not putting lights in the park. So that's something that we need to work on. Duties are going to entail promoting businesses and employment opportunities for the citizens of the town. We can go out and talk to every business in this town, and we can help find other businesses to come into our town. There's a great one, I don't know if anybody knows Jenny Sarton. She has a phenomenal idea about bringing in education. She has backers. She's talking about doing some other kinds of things. She would be great to have her ideas for the town. The Pahrump Town Board is made up of elected volunteers and had been a part of the town's structure for over 3 decades. Unlike the commissioners, the town board's focus was purely local interests. A lot of people on social media and in person say to me in my face that this is a move to incorporate Pahrump into a city. Well, let me tell you, I don't want this place to turn into a city. I came from Vegas for 43 years, and I've been here for about 5. I love it here. I was in Vegas when they started like Pahrump. Anyone that knows me knows I don't want to live in a city. My budget is so razor thin that one thing could just tip me over the edge. I don't want taxes, anything to go up. So, and I would hope that other people would support me on that, because I don't want anybody's taxes to go up either. There simply isn't enough focus or specialized attention given to the needs of Pahrump by the commissioners, except using the town of Pahrump's money. 4 of the 5 commissioners live in Pahrump. Their obligations stretch their focus thin. In addition to being commissioners, they have jobs of acting commissioners of the highway fund, the sheriff of the liquor fund, sitting on various other committees throughout the town. So their time is stretched very thin. And then they're supposed to support the other towns in our county. Other towns in Nye County that have less people than us, or in some cases 0, have town boards. So go figure, how do you have a town board when there's no people? But somehow they created that. We need a town board to manage Pahrump's parks, cemeteries, and buildings. These are the core areas under the other previous town boards' oversight, and they remain critical to the daily life and growth of our town. We've heard some residents say, "Oh, hell no." A couple people in this room have said to me, when I say, "What do you think about a town board?" they go, "Oh, hell no." And I say, "Why?" And then I hear, "Oh, well, the last board was a bunch of clowns." What the heck does that have to do with today? I never get an answer. When the county took over the properties and equipment that was owned by the town of Pahrump, and they used the county buildings, did they sign leases with the town of Pahrump to rent our buildings so that we get income for them using our buildings? Projects such as the proposed splash pad and the still unfinished fairgrounds could have progressed much more efficiently under the guidance of a dedicated town board. Without one, these community enhancements, specifically the fairgrounds, have lingered for years. The town board had a fair and festival committee, and there was, and they were disbanded. I don't know why. They were working on doing something for the fairgrounds. The last town board had a fair, and it was a single commissioner. There is a single commissioner, Deborah Strickland. She's taken over the books and all the other information. However, I met with her and I asked her for budgets, expenses, income. She didn't give me any. When everybody asks, there are multiple people that ask for that information, because the fairgrounds is our fairgrounds. It's not Nye County's, it belongs to us. We are the ones that should be able to say whether we want a roller coaster out there, whether we want bikes out there, whatever. It is our position to make the decision, not the county commissioners. Some say that Deborah is trying to make the fairgrounds her legacy. The town board could do much more transparent jobs on these projects. The latest mismanagement of money, in my opinion, was at the July 21st Board of Commissioners meeting, where the sheriff wants to purchase an RV for $79,000. His original request was to buy it out of the town funds, or not the town fund, the county funds. They turned him down. They said we couldn't afford it right now. So then he turned around and he said, "Well, you know what, let's go and see what Pahrump can do for us." Well, they don't fall under us. We don't supply them anything. But here's his reasoning. It was because most of the work that they will be doing in this RV is going to happen in Pahrump, then we should pay for it. But then he went on to say, but we're going to use it in other towns and in other events. I don't understand why we need to pay for an RV for the sheriff that is under the control of the county commissioners. The sheriff said the vehicle will be used in Pahrump. So I don't understand where any of his ideas are coming from. I gotta find my next page, I didn't label The town or the county has no money. I hear they're going into conservatorship. I hear that, they're going to, even though they're hiring a whole bunch of people, and I don't know why they're doing that, but they don't have enough money to continue operating Nye County. So I think that what they were looking for was some money so that they can continue to do whatever they're doing. When the Pahrump Town Board was disbanded, there was $18 million in the town's funds, in their books, in the green. And the town of Pahrump is now being managed under the county commissioners. And what the county commissioners do is when an item comes up, they don't think about the town of Pahrump. They think about how they can either get some sort of money out of us taxation-wise, or to use some of the money that we have. We currently still have, according to what I have been able to find, is $18 million to do with as we need in our town. However, there's a federal law, just so that everybody's clear, knows that the money that we have cannot be used to pave roads. Roads is a county commission thing, and that's something we should be pounding their heads on. There will be 5 people elected to the town board, and they will run at the same time when the question of town form of government is on the ballot. As for where the funds will come from, we have been told the county has employees who are doing work for both the county and the town. Throughout their days, the employees write down when they do something for the town or they do something for the county. At the end of the week, the hours are totaled up, sent off to payroll, and Nye County pays their portion, and we pay our portion. But nobody will provide us with any of those documents. Only the hiring of a town manager, which would lessen the work of the county manager, would be an increase in what we're paying right now. However, it would reduce the amount that they're paying the county and town manager out of the county's money. So that would be a saving to them. Little cost to us, but we'd be managing ourselves. A town manager would relieve the manager of the responsibility of seeing both town and county-wide operations, which is stretched so very thin, especially for a town manager with no experience and appointed against the wishes of the members of our community. He is also the ex-husband of one of the commissioners. His daughter happens to work in the DA office. Nepotism is big in our town. We believe with the information we are providing the community will help them understand where the problems are and will eliminate the hassles that dealing with the county. With the town handling business licenses, licenses won't take 3 years, 4 years, 50 years, or whatever it's taking. It'll go a lot quicker because the town will know what they're doing. They don't have to worry about the other things that go along with licensing. A town board simply provides local governance over existing municipalities without turning Pahrump into an incorporated city with all the bureaucracy and tax burdens that could accompany such a change. Let me be very clear, and I am one that will say this to anybody's face. We are not here to ask to have Pahrump turn into a city. We don't need it. We don't want it. We don't want to increase taxes. In fact, I found out the other day when I got my tax bill that the assessor's office in the county has been using the wrong calculations for mobile homes for valuing your property. They found out last year, and the legislature called down and said, we see you're using the wrong numbers, so you need to get the right numbers and push that forward. So they did that this year. I found it on my bill, and I called over to the assessor's office, who wouldn't talk to me. She had to go look at some cars or something. Anyway, the thing was, I asked, where did this valuation on my home go? It went up $10,500. It's the same triple wide, sitting on the same dirt with no improvements for the last 18 years. Nothing has changed. However, they revalued my house an additional $10,000. Ridiculous. And every other mobile home owner also has had that happen to them. And your valuation of your house went up, which means then your property taxes are going up. They won't tell me when they got notified. The assessor won't talk to me. It's like a big old secret over there, and that's something that I am going to get to the bottom of. What I don't get is why with a 10-year span, with more outside ideas of those who have moved into town, how any of this could happen. The Pahrump long-timers need to step out of the past and realize we have new blood, new talent, and new education to keep our town as rural with some modern amenities as we would like it to be. Encourage, one big pro is that local government usually is very accessible to everyone. A town board, you can come to the meetings, you can talk to us, and we can respond. We don't have to sit there like the Board of Commissioners and just ignore us. I mean, we spend hours and hours on investigations, and they don't listen to a darn thing we say. We need local government to provide us service. We need public transportation to help people get around town if they don't have a driver's license, if they're not a veteran, or if they're not a senior. There's no bus. I almost had to find somebody to get me here and I didn't know what I was going to do. Senior facilities help old people live somewhere and take care of them in their old age. Our senior center is pretty great at helping people. However, if you look at the budget every month, Tonopah gets a whole slew of money for their seniors to get Meals on Wheels. I haven't seen Pahrump get any. This is a time for action now. Pahrump has waited 10 years, and the challenges facing the town have only grown. Restoring a town board is not about revisiting the past, but about building a stronger, more responsive future. So I would like to have the question on the ballot, should we restore the town board? And you can vote yes or no. And the reason I gave this big old long spiel is because I bet you a lot of you guys didn't know about the money thing. So anyway, that's all I have to say, and now we can open for questions and answers.
Good afternoon. I'm just passing through. I'm packing up, but I've heard so much. I haven't been here very long, but I've asked a lot of questions, and I've learned a lot. And everywhere I go, there are problems because the top and bottom scenario is money, irregardless. But I wanted to read this, and I won't take too long, just a few minutes. August the 22nd, 2025, Town Board hearing at 5:30 p.m. Coalition Building. I am a veteran. I did my 20 years during the Vietnam era, and I served well. I am a patriot. God is the head of my life. I don't know about yours. My dear and honest people, this is a republic based on democratic ideas and principles, which means more freedom and less government. And it is determined by what the masses want and how beneficial it will be for the masses, not a small group who has an agenda or on other motives. Since the masses are not interested in another layer of government, who are the folks that are so determined to continue to persist and insist that Pahrump needs another layer? A town board. What is their purpose to continue claw and paw for a town board? Why and for what reason? Most of the town commissioners live in the town of Pahrump. Why does this handful of people continue to pursue this effort? For what reason and what purpose? If put on the ballot and it fails, I have a belief that they will continue to insist on this town board for whatever reason and their agenda. I am for less government and more freedom for the citizens in Pahrump and across America and the world. So help me God. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to respond? I just want to let you know, sir, that we have absolutely no other agenda than to...
We are humans, right?
I'm sorry?
Are we not humans?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what that has to do with my answer, but the thing is we want the people to know where our money is going. We want to be able to go into the park at night when the lights are off. But the town board said, no, we're not going to leave the lights on. Or not the town board, the commissioners said, we're not going to leave the lights on. They don't care whether we get to use our parks or not. That's just one of the issues. But anyway, we have no other agenda, and we have no other desire to do anything else except explicitly what we said. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Anthony Greco. I've been here for 28 years, and I've watched the town board that used to be, so let's look forward. I'm really not for a town board because I'm not for any more government than we have. I would actually like to get rid of half of the people that work for the county. The nice thing here is what I agree with 90% of what you're saying, but can you get it done? See, that's what the problem is. We get all these nice things that are said, and we agree with most of it, but when it happens, it doesn't happen the way it was said. Because as the town board we used to have, if they wanted to bring a business in here, they had to get it approved through the county. Because the town don't have that authority. So you're still dealing with the county. Instead of adding another layer of government, fix the county. Go out and knock on doors against the commissioners that are running for office and get rid of them. We don't need bigger government. Remember, if anybody remembers Ronald Reagan, government is the problem.
Anthony, thank you.
Somebody's home over that way.
I'm sorry? Oh, somebody's phone was on. I just want to say there's two different ways we can look at this. This legislature, long time ago, came up with this thing called Dillon's Rule. Dillon's Rule means that the town is under the rule of the state, which means the state then, appoints the commissioners. However, there's another rule called the home rule. And we could have our town board look into that, because the home rule would allow us to self-govern without the interruption from the commission. And it would allow us to make our own laws. It would allow us to move forward with things we want. So we would go from Dillon's Rule to home rule, which would actually be such a big change for our town, and we wouldn't have the commissioners going, oh, you can't buy that. We'd be like, oh, well, yes, we can. So that's something that I learned about, and I think it was somebody in town that told me about the Dillon's Rule and home rule, and I'll be putting a lot of stuff on social media. Or if you want to ask a question on that, you can send us an email. It's on the back of the little form there that says townboard@mail.com. And we'll be answering some of these questions on our roundtable on September 20th on KPTV. Did I get that right?
KPVM.
KPVM. Yeah, I get it wrong all the time. I'm so sorry. Okay, so next person, please.
Hello, thank you all for coming. But it's kind of sad, isn't it? It reminds me when I used to run for state offices, and this was the turnout in a big city. That's all they cared about, their future. I was on the town board, the last town board, so I take a little offense to people saying it was out of control. I'll tell you what was out of control. Some of the people in this community were out of control. As one time at one meeting, they decided they were going to come there and raid the meeting and arrest everybody. The sheriff deputy just stood there and watched it all. Well, if you know my history, I've been here 31 years, I couldn't even attend a meeting without getting arrested. But a whole group of people can come there and disrupt a public meeting and try to arrest everybody, and nothing happened to a single one of them, because Tony DeMeo, sheriff then, wasn't on the town's side. He wouldn't help take care of those people. So it wasn't the town board out of control, it was the people themselves that showed up to those meetings, trying to intimidate the board. No board member got paid, they were volunteers. They're all successful people in their own right. And they just wanted to see this community be better. They didn't need a job. They didn't need the money. They just wanted a nicer place to live. Discontentment is the first step towards progress. So all those people saying that we're good as it is, well, contentment is the first step towards failure. When you're discontent, that's when changes happen. So you think the county's doing a good job? Let's see, there's 17 counties in Nevada. We rank number 5 in size. Carson City has about 3,000 more people than us. But we rank down at the bottom in financial success. We're number 15 out of 17 counties in this. Wow, and we're next to Vegas. And that's how we stand. The county has failed us miserably. Because what happens is people get elected to office, and all they got is their little pet project. They don't care about what goes on here, and they need the money, and they need the benefits of being a commissioner, and they get elected, and they don't do nothing for the people here. And you think less government's better? Yeah, well, so do they. It works out great, right? They spend 15 minutes on town agenda stuff, and then they move on. We spent 4 hours. You had a great, bigger opportunity to get involved, state your feelings about things, but no, 15 minutes is better? Yeah, it's better for them. As was stated earlier, we had millions in reserve, and at that time the county was flat broke. They fired county employees, including the town manager. See, the town manager is a person that looked around and said, hey, these people need this, they need that. Well, who's doing that for us now? It's not them commissioners. They just want to steal the town's money for their little pet projects. That's what they've been doing. They've been doing it for 31 years that I've been here. Name me one financial asset that the county has created that brings money from outside into this community. I can't think of a single one, but they sure have created a lot of financial liabilities that we gotta keep paying for. When I first came here, there wasn't anything about the dump on your tax bill, but then they added a charge for the dump. Now, you wanna go dump your old refrigerator, you gotta pay. So they just keep adding things, but somehow that's okay, huh? Well, it's not okay with me. Before, we had a town board that had authority over the parks, the cemetery, the ambulance, and the fire department. When I first came here 31 years ago, the fire trucks were all really old fire trucks. So not just during my tenure, but all the years I've been here, the town board made things better. The parks got better, the fire department got better, the ambulances got better. Oh, and speaking of the ambulances, the county used to run it before the town took it over. It was running in the red all the time. Town took it over, and gee, guess what? It started making money. They seem to know how to manage that better. There's so much on my mind and then it blocks everything I want to say. The town was working on 3 projects. Number 1, the town has 400 acres of land that Congress gave us across the street from the racetrack. The town hired Chris Brown, the former head Imagineer at Disney, to create a project. Though he was the former head Imagineer at Disney and had his own business, he still did Disney work and he created tourist attractions throughout the world. So we hired him to create something for us. Geez, we got all these people coming to Vegas, tens of millions of them every year. Let's create something for them. So he started working on that. And then these people in town that don't want any progress, well, we don't need that because they don't think out of the box. Maybe they don't need a job. But you know, when someone over there doesn't have a job, he starts wondering what's in your house. Maybe he's depressed and starts using drugs. Well, then someone needs to sell them to him. You see, all this stuff perpetuates itself. Negativity perpetuates itself. Town was also working on an airport. We hired a company that runs municipal airports throughout the country. They did a study and said, wow, you'd be one of the few that make some money because you're close to Vegas, they'll park their planes here, you can sell gas cheaper and so on. Again, more jobs and more money coming to Pahrump instead out of your tax bill and whatever. But somehow that wasn't a good idea. And the third thing we were working on was a park on Kellogg Street. The denser population in this community is on Kellogg. Well, that park still isn't done because the county dropped the ball on all 3 of those things. Well, there's more people here who want to talk, but what I'm trying to get across to you, instead of being like most of those people out there that didn't want to come tonight and getting facts about things and asking questions, don't assume everything you hear is right. When you hear statements like, they did a poor job, well, what does that mean? I can tell you I did a good job. That means nothing, right? So if they don't explain what was bad, who did what, then it means absolutely nothing. Stop being so gullible. We need representation. Unfortunately, all we can be is an advisory board, but at least the town would have a voice. You have an opportunity to come to those meetings and tell people, I want to see this happen in my neighborhood. I want to see this happen. Then you got some people that are volunteering, don't need the money. They just want to see a better place. Going to the commissioner and saying, hey, we need to get this done. So if you've got a problem with someone representing what you want, because I know nobody in this town is really happy with what's going on, then that seems to be something personal you got going on that's wrong. Because we need some representation. And in all the 31 years I've lived here, I haven't seen it yet, except for the town board, as I said. The 4 things they were responsible for got better and better and better. And then the county stole all our money. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bill Hochstedler, and I wanted to tell everybody that I basically support the idea of this petition. I think it's important that we have a voice and that we have an opportunity to vote, whether you agree or not with the idea of a town board. But what I do see is a lot of people are resenting the idea of more government, and they say less government. We've heard it tonight. We hear it often when we see people out on the street, go shopping or whatever. You hear people talk about it. I will say the opposite of more government. When you have less government, when you have consolidation of government, there's less representation. There's more opportunities for fraud, waste, abuse, nepotism, as we discussed. All these things that we don't want to happen. If you consolidate power to 1, 2, 3, or even 5 people, the opportunities for those types of things to happen are greater. And I think this is an opportunity to have more leadership in the county, even though it's the town of Pahrump, it's the majority of the population. And like the previous speaker just said, the opportunity to be represented, at least have your voice heard. There's another 3 minutes that you can do a public comment before the meeting and another 3 minutes after the meeting. And there'll be more media coverage from our TV stations, our social media coverage, our newspapers, and be able to educate the public of what's going on in this county and this town. I think it's a good thing. I'm not trying to convince you that it's a good thing, but I am very glad that it's on a petition that we can have signed and get it on the ballot. I do have one question about the history of this ballot initiative, and maybe this will help people understand what's going on in the county. Was there a way to get this on the ballot without a petition, and the board of directors said, no, we won't do it? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought, and that should tell you a lot about people trying to hang on to power and keep consolidation of power. We need better representative government, and if it's a town board that's doing the right thing, then so be it. And if the town board doesn't work out, there's ways to remedy that, but let's give it a chance.
Hi, I'm Renee Jones, and I run an addiction clinic here in town, and I also am a volunteer for Southwestern Wilds. Can you hear me now? Okay. Sorry. My name is Renee Jones, and I run an addiction clinic here in town. I'm also a volunteer for Southwestern Wilds and Pahrump Valley Rehabilitation. So I'm all over town here, and at this time I'm against the board, and the reason is why. The top 2 people that are on the Voices of Nye County LLC, their license has been revoked, 1. 2, the other reason I'm against it is 2 of the people that are on this petition to get the ballot, 2 out of the 5, one of them has a battery charge, the other one also has bankruptcies and tax liens. So if they want us to allow them to take care of the town budget and these sorts of things, I think that's really scary to have somebody that has bankruptcies, can't take care of their own finances and tax liens. If those 2 people were maybe removed, I might be for it. But at this time, I would say no. Thank you.
Okay, just to answer your questions.
It's public record too as well. I have all the records here.
Okay, Voices in Nye County was started as a nonprofit. It was started as a nonprofit.
Okay.
It's an online group, and that was just my way to try and get the information out to the people in town, what was going on.
Okay.
We did not get any funds. I do not have extra money to go and pay for renewals and all that other stuff. Therefore, we did not renew it, and it's just an online group now called Voices in Nye County that people can go and voice their opinion, because anybody in Nye County has the right to say whatever they want. The other thing, people that have bankruptcies, I'll just let you know, I filed bankruptcy. My husband went and took all the money, and I had none. so I couldn't pay my bills.
Okay.
I had to file bankruptcy. Just to let you know.
And
what
the
you
tax
have right
liens?
here. I don't have tax liens.
I've got them all in here. You can see them after the.
I have?
after the- Yeah,
If I
it's all
have-
in here. You have tax
Okay,
liens.
So,
But all I'm saying is it's public information.
Okay.
And if they were removed, then maybe I would vote for it. Thank you.
but I want to let you know that the people involved on this committee are not the ones that are going to be on the board.
Okay, please, let's don't get into the personal thing. I know emotions run very, very high. And there's times this, that, but I really don't think that's what we're here for, what we're here for is to decide, do we need a town board? Ma'am, I respect your comments. But the only thing I'm gonna ask is, can we not make this personal tonight? You know, if you have an issue with somebody, then you can talk about it whenever. That way we keep this organized. Sorry, ma'am?
I'm sorry, that's what this meeting is about. For the 2 out of the 5 that are on there, they need to be transparent about their financial problems
Yeah.
and battery and criminal records so that we can then vote for them if that's what you want.
Okay, but ma'am, okay, let me clear that up real quick, okay? None of this that I'm aware of, and if I find out anybody on this committee is thinking about running for town board, if it comes through, then my butt's out that door right now. All this committee is, and that's why I volunteered to help with it, is to facilitate providing information. I can tell you right now, and you ask anybody in Pahrump, if I get pissed off about something, then I'm gonna change it. I am not gonna be on this board. If anybody on this board, they have intentions of running for a town board member, that's nothing to do with this. It's, you need facilitators to organize meetings like this, bring up sound systems, put the flags. I got my grandbaby, oh shit, she's sleeping. Oops. You know, she helps us set up the chairs. And I hope I made that clear for you, ma'am. That it's not, this board has nothing to do, sorry, see now you got me saying it. This committee has nothing to do with if the ballot went through and if the community decided, then at that point, everybody here's job is done. Then it goes down to the county. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, so then they are going to go on the ballot if this is approved, correct?
No, we won't know.
Okay.
The ballot will be worded a little bit different. I'm a really good politician. I guess, look. The wording basically will be, should the town of Pahrump have a town board? Yes or no? That's it. It doesn't address, okay, well, could we have a town board and Ski's the president of the town board? Hell no. It's, can we have a town board? Yes or no? That's it. Now,
And then anyone,
the people on the board are going to be elected.
anyone in the town of Pahrump could put their name in to be a member of the town board. That has not been
Correct.
discussed or picked yet. Anybody in this audience could turn their name in if they want to be on the town board.
Yeah, but I hope that, and I'm glad you came up and spoke, because you were brave enough to come up here and say what the questions that you had. And unless we all do that and we respect decisions of other people, then we're gonna have problems. But I just, I'm standing back there and I just want to make it clear that this group here has nothing to do with being on the town board. They're helping to get the information to the ballot so the people decide yes or no. Me personally, like I said before, if they vote no, then fine. If they vote yes, then fine. Okay, thank you.
I haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go. I haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go. I see good points and I see bad points. We all know that the commissioners we have now suck. And I'm sorry, I'm being honest. I go to all of the hearings, and it is unbelievable the way that we are treated. There are lots of people out there, including Beth and some others, that search and look for documents and try to find the truth on everything and give us correct information. They just completely ignore us. We never get the correct answers, and they don't want to give them to us. There's a lot of lying going on, I'm telling you the truth, and we can only do so much as a town sitting there listening to this stuff. And they just drag everything on to the point or hide it to the next meeting. They don't want us to know, or they do it behind the board and they say they're not supposed to do that, but they do. And we don't wait for months and we never get an answer to some of the things that are even on the agenda. It's pretty sad. It helps if more of you would come to the meetings, and I know it's really hard because some of us work, and the seniors, it's difficult for us, but you gotta come. And I will tell you right now, the biggest problem we have right now is probably 2 or 3 of them. They all need to be voted out. We need to start fresh and get a new group of people in there and get rid of the crap and the delays and the stuff that they're feeding us with the idea that they're doing the best for us. There's a lot of the stuff in this town that needs to be taken care of, and it's sad that the people that live here and have lived here a long time have to put up with this crap. And I've only been here 5 years, and it's 5 years too long to understand why a town of this size is so poor and is operated so badly. And it needs a lot of help, and we have a lot of people in this town that want to see that. We've got to go for it. We can't sit here and do nothing. If the board is what you want to do, vote for it. If you don't, then don't vote for it. Then we'll at least have an answer where to go from there. And I pray for this community every day. If I could go somewhere else, I probably would. Thank you.
My name is Dwight Lilly, and I came here for information. But what I've heard, it seems to me Skeet was right in his opening statement. The last town board we had have lost its way, and boy, had it lost its way. We spent $250,000 on a proposed water park to bring tourism in and raise money for the town. In the driest town, in a single aquifer water situation, it was running out of water, but let's put a water park in. One of the ideas was to bring tanks in here. We'll buy tanks so tourists can come and drive tanks around in the desert, even though the Bureau of Land Management won't let you run tanks around the desert. So yes, the board had lost its way. So now the proposal is to bring a board back, a Pahrump Town Board. What I look at this as is a systemic problem with government overall in Nye County that makes people like Beth stand up and say, we have a problem, like in Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem. Because we're not being represented properly by this current county commissioners who are our town board. We have a town board. 12 years ago, when the county commissioners got rid of the town board, I remember the commissioner meeting, and it was the first district commissioner, Joni Eastley, that cast a vote to take it away from to get rid of our town board. It was put on the ballot, and we got rid of it. One of the problems we have with the commissioners being the town board, I want you to think about this, is that one of the commissioners' sole interest is on the northern part of the county. Yet, most of the people, and an ever-increasing number of people, represent this county live in Pahrump. Every time the North wants something, they sell their vote, their commissioner vote, to get something that they want up north. We've seen it happen time after time. I don't know if any of you attended the meeting where we bought a museum or a golf course. The commissioner chambers were packed with people. It came down to 2-2 vote, and the commissioner from the first district said, well, I wasn't going to vote on it, but I'm going to go ahead and vote that we buy a golf course, which has been a white elephant and keeps losing money. So Tom is right, Beth is right, Ms. Card's right. People are really right here that we don't have proper representation. On Facebook, I don't know if any of you are on Facebook, I'm running videos about every other day about the problems we're having here. My name is Dwight Lilly. You just go to my Facebook page. I posted one again today. This county is out of control. It's bankrupt because they don't have money. I've questioned, where's the money for all these people that are moving into Pahrump? I mean, is it being siphoned off to spend on items up in the north? I don't know, because I'm not running the books here. But what I think is a systemic problem is that when the people run for commissioner, which is really our town board, they should really be saying, I'm running for the town board of Pahrump and to be a Nye County commissioner. Because they should put the number one responsibility, like somebody mentioned, 4 of the commissioners live here, and the 5th one's Bruce Jabbar, used to live here. They need to be the ones that are representing us in Pahrump, nearly 50,000 people. They can't, and Tom was right, I heard him speak once before, you can't wear a bunch of different hats. You're trying to run what's going on in Gaps. I talked to a guy the other day, one of our county employees had to drive to Gaps. To get to Gaps is an all-day drive, just to go up there and take a reading on some meter or something and come back. That's 2 days he took on that. So do we need a town board? I don't know if we need a town board, but what I do know is we are not being properly represented by the current county commissioners in any way, shape, or form, no matter what they say. All you need to do is go on that next door neighbor or whatever it is and read what the problems are now at Mountain Fall, talking about the fairgrounds that was a town fairground. Somehow the commissioners have taken out over driving that. So are we going to be properly represented is my bottom line. Can I, as a senior citizen, pushing 80 years old, depend upon these county commissioners to properly represent my tax dollar? Because if they're bankrupt, then why are they proposing 6,000 more house development out on the south end? Who's going to pay for the service? They can't even patch the roads out in front of my house, yet they want to bring in another 6,000 homes here. Think about that. Right? Is any of you aware of that? Mountain Falls South that they're proposing? Who's going to pay for the high school out there that they're going to need? Who's going to pay for the middle school? My friend back here says it costs $23 million just to build one elementary school here. They're not thinking properly with your tax dollar. So whether this petition goes through to get it elected, I mean, that's democracy. If you want to put something on a ballot, I've said before, you know, will I vote for it? I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning against it, quite frankly. I'd rather fix what we have as our town board, the commissioner. But people forget that they are the town board. They always run it for commissioner. No, they're really your town board. And in my opinion, they're screwing everyone in this room. The way they're managing it is totally mismanaged. Totally mismanaged. And people just go ahead and keep voting for these same people. Skeet was right again. I'm going to say that again. Was the former town board had it lost way? Of course it had lost its way. Would it lose its way in the future? I don't know. Government seems to lose its way all the time. We see this nationally, in the state, at the county level, in the town. What we need desperately is leadership in this town that looks at this town's future. The water situation is a nightmare. Overbuilding this town is a nightmare. But the county commissioners just go right ahead and rubber stamp, like I said in my video today on Facebook, rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp, rubber stamp, that program. That's all I got to say, but think this out. People need to practice critical thinking. You really need to think these things out. This is your town, your grandkids' town, your kids' town, future generations' town, depend upon the decisions made right now. Do we need a town board that can fix it? I don't know. Do we need a city that can fix it? I don't know. But I do know that what we have is broken. It's badly broken.
My name is Amy Nelson, and I either attend these meetings at the Board of County Commissioners in person or on the phone, and I've done so for the last 16 years. The one thing that was said about the lights at the park, during that meeting, there was an item to leave the lights on all night. They leave them on until 10 o'clock at night right now. The vote was not to leave them on later than 10 o'clock. They still leave them on, but not later than 10 o'clock. I also spent the last 2 days calling the different town boards and advisory boards in Nye County to get their opinions on elected town boards or voluntary advisory boards. There's a big difference. An advisory board is a volunteer board where they would answer to the commissioners, but they would take the people's feedback and give it to them, or the town elected board, which is a great expense. Anybody can go online and put in the search bar for the current Town of Pahrump budget to see how much it costs right now without an additional treasurer that you would have to pay for, or an additional comptroller that you would have to pay for, and the people that work in their office to help them. There's a lot of expense that goes into town manager. Harley Coughlin can tell you that. It cost, the last one that I printed out was 2009, and the budget for the town was over $10 million. There's a huge responsibility, and you have a tax revenue that pays for all of it. You have a tax revenue that comes in every month. That's from the sales tax and from gasoline tax and what they call the delay tax that comes in from room reservations in the casinos and the casino taxes. We have a lot of revenue depending on which town you live in, but the consensus was advisory boards they outweighed the 3-to-1 for town board. The advisory boards were the ones that everybody agreed that would be a better solution for people, and not the only solution, but a better solution than having to take away the town board that we have now. The problem we have, and I've been saying this for 16 years, we don't get people to attend these meetings. Nobody will show up at these meetings, and they complain and ask, why don't they do them at 6 o'clock at night? That's because they have too many items. These meetings can go on for 9 hours. So if you start a meeting at 6 o'clock at night, they'll be going until early hours in the morning. So that's not feasible. But there might be a solution if they give more meetings and they break these items down so that the public can attend. So that's my suggestion, that people ask of their commissioners, or give us more meetings so people can attend, and possibly that might break this lack of interest that our public shows by not showing up. We have Beth that shows up at every meeting. We have 3 different women actually that show up in person. I wish I could, but I can't. I used to. But at least I get on the phone. We have a computer you can use to watch them. You can listen to them on your phone wherever you are, or you can, just be there in person. There's so many options for the public to get involved. We just need you to get involved, or we wouldn't be in this position. We would be able to get the commissioners to do our bidding if we show up in mass on items and pay attention to the items. Don't expect a town board to do your bidding. If you don't show up to meetings, they're not going to know what you want, and they're going to vote just like the commissioners and think, oh, everybody's going to go for this. And it's not going to happen unless you get involved. And that's the secret. That's the secret of fixing what's wrong in Nye County and in Pahrump, is get involved and go to your meetings. I don't care if it's an option for a separate town board. That's your choice. That's going to be something that people should vote on, in my opinion. I personally won't vote for it. I think there's other ways to take care of it without adding expenses and taking away from the tax revenue that we now have that is earmarked for the town and not the county. So if you follow and pay attention to these meetings, you can make a difference. But that's my opinion, and I hope if it does go to ballot, everybody gets out and votes. Thank you.
My name is Iris Pacheco, and my husband is sitting over there. We came to Pahrump a little short of 3 years ago. We were born in Honolulu, Hawaii. We moved to Las Vegas in 2000, and we lived there for 22 years before deciding to come here to retire. So we did see the growth of Pahrump, because we've been coming back and forth visiting Pahrump in the 25 years. We decided to make Pahrump our everlasting home before the Lord calls us home. And you know, the commissioners, I don't know them personally, but I've been hearing positives and negatives. I don't know about this town board thing. It's so new to us. But all I know is there are 3 words that rings in my mind. And those 3 words are, we the people. Are you familiar with those words from the US Constitution? We the people of Pahrump. I believe that we should have a say because this is our home. Now, my husband and I live in a very large HOA in Las Vegas, 2,000 senior homes there. We were there for many years. And we had a board. Yes, just like the commissioners. And when it came to these large decisions, which I remember one very distinctly, they wanted to spend $1 million of our money, our HOA money. Why? Oh, they wanted to extend and beautify the rec center. They said, we want the best rec center in Las Vegas, so people would want to move to our HOA. Well, we asked, what is the money for? Oh, well, we need new furniture. They made all the decisions. We had no say. Yes, we could go to the meeting, express how we felt, but who had the last decision? The board. We moved out of there. I said to my husband, we don't even go to the rec center twice in all those years we were there, but we already had a nice rec center. Then we moved to Las Vegas. And all that was happening, right? And I said to my husband, okay, where are we going to move and retire? So we decided Pahrump. We love HOAs, don't get me wrong. We moved into another HOA here in Pahrump. It's a beautiful place. And you know, we realized that Pahrump have the most beautiful people, honestly. We were told not to move to Pahrump. You don't belong there. Those people are bad, blah, blah, blah. When we came here, we went back to Vegas and said, you were wrong. You don't know these people. They're just the nicest people. So we did. We built our home here. Then we were hearing about the town board. And I said, what is this about the town board? And all I've been hearing is, well, now you'll get to say if you want something done, if you disagree or agree, you have a voice. You be we the people. Okay, so I'm so happy. And I'm like, wait a minute. Am I with the town board or with the commissioners? Let me tell you, they've done some great things. We've seen the development through the years. You can't put them down. They made some mistakes. I've been hearing even tonight. Okay, but what do we really want? We the people. Do we want a town board? Okay, my husband and I were trying to decide, and what made our decision is this. When the committee wanted to put the ballot on the next election, and they were turned down, why? Why was the commissioners afraid of letting we the people to vote? Do you know when they rejected the committee? That tells me they restricted my rights. My rights as a citizen of Pahrump to decide whether we want a town board or the commissioners. And so what I'm saying here is, tonight we were a little late to come to this meeting. Why? Because we had to go to our HOA board meeting. The same thing is happening. the board of our HOA is making a decision on this huge project, and the people, we the homeowners, we the people, many have disagreed. And guess what? The board members said, you have no say. We're the board members. We make the decision. If you want to make changes, then run for the board. Excuse me? Have you heard of your fiduciary duty to the homeowners? Does the commissioners have a fiduciary duty to all of us? To listen to what we want? I believe they do. I believe the commissioners have a duty to listen to the people. And we, the people, should have the right to vote. So now, when they restricted our right to decide whether we want a board or not, I commend the committee because they don't get paid. They're volunteers, as I understand. And they're stepping out. They're stepping out for who? All of us. We, the people. That's who these people are. So, what I'm saying here, people, tonight, is what was the commissioners afraid of? To put the ballot on the next election. If most of the people said, no, we don't want the town board, then so let it be. So let it be, because the people voted. And that's how democracy is, isn't it? That's when we vote for our president, for any elected official. It's we, the people, that put them there. We even put the commissioners where they are today. Isn't that right? But are we, the people, the majority, do we still want them in office? Well, let's decide. Let the people decide. Put the town board on the ballot on the next election and let the people speak. That's how we feel. Let the people speak. Because I believe in the Constitution. I believe in America. I was born and raised in America, not in an Asian country. This is my home, America. My family fought for many of the wars, my brothers. And so I say to you tonight, what are we afraid of? What are we afraid of? We need to put this on the ballot. And we need to vote. Let the majority vote, not the minority. I'm sorry. That's how democracy, that's how America is. And I believe that we are living in America. In America.
All right.
Thank you.
My name is Shauna Gonzalez. I've been a resident of Pahrump since 2023. First, I want to say I'm very sad I didn't get the warm welcome from the mic lady, but that's okay. I want to say that I do not feel any of these people on the Pahrump Town Board should go on the Pahrump Town Board or vote for anybody unless background checks are done. And I'm not talking about just regular background checks. I'm talking about Facebook. I'm talking about business background checks. And I will explain why. We brought my father here in 2023 to die as a veteran. He is in the dying process, unfortunately. One of the people on the board decided to mention that I was daddy's prostitute because I'm a traffic victim. Do you think that should be on the board? Somebody who posts publicly that a trafficked victim is daddy's prostitute. I'm gonna leave it at that, because if you guys do, then I do not vote for it.
Susie Hurd. I've lived here for 5 years with my husband. I had some questions and issues with some of the things that were said that I didn't believe were accurate. I go to the commission meetings on a regular basis, and I've heard I've heard many of these items and issues brought up. One of the things that concerns me is a comment that was made that the town board would have issues and powers with regard to taxes. I don't see that here anywhere. That doesn't seem to be a fact. There was a comment with regard to the senior center. The senior center also is a county entity and is legislated by the county. And we do have meals here. Somebody addressed the lights on issue. And another thing that was questioned was something about real estate taxes going up. Well, anybody can access that information. It's public information. We all vote on whether we have real estate taxes or any other taxes. It's public record. You can go there, you can go to the assessor's office, and you can see what the tax rates are, and you can see them on your tax bill. And yes, all of our taxes go up because that's the law that we voted in. My main concern about this organization, should it come to be, is that the public learn and understand the powers that this town board would have, supposedly. And there are 5 things listed in this paper that they gave us. So bear in mind that if you're going to vote for a town board, the town board is not going to be able to solve all of your issues, your questions, and your problems and your concerns, whether it's taxes, safety, policing, roads, or any of that. This town board has no power for any of those things. It would have power over the fire department, the cemetery, the parks, the swimming pool, and then something here that's vague, Pahrump buildings and grounds. I don't know what that means. But this town board does not have the potential to have the power that everybody is complaining about and everybody is concerned about. Those powers lie with the county commissioners. And as what was stated earlier this evening is true, and that is that if you go to the meetings and you listen to what's going on and you speak your voice, you have some chance to at least be heard in the process. If you can't go to the meetings, the agendas and all of the backup information that the commissioners look at to make their decisions are public record. You can go online to the agenda for any meeting that's held in this government and find that information. And you can respond in writing. You can write them a letter. You can send them emails. There are ways for people to participate in this community that are easy and can allow us the ability to have our voices heard. So my main concern about a town board is that that's not the issue, that's not the problem. The problem is that we have a community of 47,000 people and only 50 people care enough to come out and find out what's going on and voice their opinions and ask questions. And until we solve that issue, which is to activate our neighbors, our fellow citizens, to doing something, this is useless. It's just another layer of government that just costs another layer of money. And believe me, they're going to take our money, and instead of it going and finding its trickling way to something that we really care about, it's going to be for somebody sitting in an office someplace and their salary. And I'm all for jobs, but that's not the way to make jobs, by creating more government. So we have a fundamental problem in this community, and it's not just here, it's everywhere. If 16% of our voting population is all that turns out at an election, we have a problem. So I would much rather see this group of people who are motivated for the better of this community to help find a way to get the voices of our community heard in the existing channels that are there. And that includes the fact that if you don't like your commissioner, then get your neighbors out there to vote them out of office and put someone better in their place. So until we do those things, it doesn't matter whether we have 14 town boards and a county commissioners. If we don't voice our opinions, if we don't go to the ballot box, if we don't support and vote in the right kinds of people who will take care of us with the mindset that we all seem to have, we're lost. This is a waste. So look at the problem, the source of the problem, and let's solve that problem, because that's the real problem. This is just a Band-Aid of a different color. Thank you.
I don't need mine, if that's all right. Steve, Vicki, Anthony, got Rick, Melissa, Harley. A lot of comments tonight, a lot of people I recognize. I'm here as John Q. Public Citizen, not as a vice chair. Okay? I have to make that clear, ethics issues. A lot of comments about democracy, Constitution, etc. The issue of the town board is an issue that causes disharmony. Very key word in politics, disharmony. When enough people get mad, get pissed off with the system, disharmony comes about, and people act upon that disharmony. The issue, oh, by the way, I forgot Ski back there. Thank you for what you do too, sir. The issue is this, and Tom. The issue is this. People need to talk out. They need to tell what they want in your community. The problem is are they listening? Yeah, we go back to the history of the town board. And I wanted to be able to say this because I've been here 37 years. I beat you out, Harley. I know when you moved in because I went up the road and there you were putting up a house. And I thought, God, he's building his own. All right, so if you're going to continue with this, it's got to be done as a business. People need and have to have these questions. And the questions they're asking is, what the hell is going to happen in a town board? You haven't answered the question. You put out a thought, but without a mission statement and a purpose, nobody knows where this is going to go. There are a lot of good thoughts out there. There are a lot of mistakes that have been made. And there are a lot of times that we weren't listened to. Harley was right. We started out with a fire department, a lot of old trucks. 1947 Federal, we built the pump on that, the motor, and it still runs. It was done right. We started out, and if anyone drives past my place, I've got the only surviving fire truck to the MGM fire, sitting in my yard. You know why that's so special to me? Because we went to Las Vegas and bought it for $125, and we fixed it and made it work. I repaired 59 vehicles in a fleet to make our fire department be able to run its calls. Harley was also right. We took over the ambulance service. The county gave us 6 ambulances. Now, one of the tires was the same make and same size. 3 of the vehicles had to be towed to our property from the county yard because they weren't even running. 2 of them had no air conditioning in them. And one of them, the alternator, was completely fried and so was the wire loom in it. What did we do? We worked our way up from the bottom, the very bottom. And we worked a lot of long, hard hours, those people that were proud here. When I arrived here, there weren't even 5,000 people here. We folded a phone book from 8.5 by 11 pages and stapled it and put a red cover on it. That was our phone book. There was no such thing as cell service here. I'm getting a little off track here, but I'm going to tell you a little of the history here. I was the first hired firefighter in Pahrump, Nevada. There was some comments made. First of all, in 1996, the town of Pahrump gave up its finances and it was turned over to Nye County. 1996. We've had no control over our finances since 1996. Tony DeMeo was mentioned. Tony DeMeo's favorite statement is, if you don't like it here, just move the hell out of here, because we're not going to change. That's his exact quote. Okay? Told it, we've got it on video from a town board meeting at the front door. If you want to see it, I have a copy of it. All right? I don't like talking about people that aren't here. Tony did serve a purpose. Okay? Tax revenues. The town runs on two services, two types of funds. Still has an enterprise fund and still has tax-paid services that you get billed directly. The enterprise fund is funded from bills that are collected from those people that use the services. The enterprise fund was created in 1999, and it was created in order to pay for, without raising the taxes of the constituents of Pahrump, in order to provide a better service. This meeting was supposed to be for facts, right? I'm giving you facts. The previous board did raise, before Frank Carboni took office, did raise our taxes. They petitioned the county commissioners, and the county commissioners approved a tax raise for Pahrump services. Because no raise had been done in our taxes for over, I think it was 12 or 15 years. Okay? And it was a necessary thing because the cost of living was going up. The initiative needs to go on the ballot. I'm not for it at this point. I'm for points of it. But I'm not for it. Your Home Depot that's sitting there. I solicited Home Depot after Lowe's pulled out. They pulled out because we didn't take control of the utilities. You need to know that too. And Preferred Equities Corporation made the mess that you're currently in. They made the flooding issues, your roads sinking. All that stuff was done because of $1. Do we need control of Pahrump? Yeah, we need control of Pahrump. How long is it going to take to get a town board done after the vote? Probably 4 or 5 years. The issue is this: the town board can't be what it was before. 5 members at large does not work. If you put a town board in, you're going to have districts. And they're going to have to represent you, so you can talk to one person and not the whole hand. Because that's all you're going to get, is the backside of the hand, and they won't even listen to you. Try calling one of your county commissioners and get them to answer the phone, or to even return a call if you leave a message. If you don't, keep trying, because that's your only voice that you have. Again, if there's enough disharmony, maybe you can get some results. But there's a lot of us that I pointed out that have lived here for a long time. We came here for one purpose and one purpose only: to be in a small rural community, to know our neighbors, and to have a voice. Tonight's meeting is good because all of you were concerned enough to come here and to get the answers to the questions. But how many of you took the time to go in front of your county commissioners and ask them the same questions? I became a member of the Pahrump Regional Planning Commission because I did not like what was happening. I do not like rubber stamping all the projects through. I like asking the proper questions that need to be asked. Those of you that know me, I filed a lawsuit against Nye County over Medi-Waste because they didn't follow Section 8 code. They didn't follow the laws that were on the books. And I told them they had to, and the judge said, if they don't, you got a right to come back here. But it needs to go to the county commissioners to correct the mistake. They corrected part of the mistake. They need to increase some of the wording to have more impact on the waste laws and having waste come from outside our community. That's your right. You need to talk. You need to tell your commissioners the job isn't done. Keep going back to them until it gets done. Granicus. Granicus is a medium that's required by law. All meetings have to be public, have to be recorded. You have a right to go ahead and watch Granicus while it's live and phone in and voice your opinion. How many of you have done that? Okay, and Beth, you know, you've called in, Linda's called in. Okay, I appreciate that when I attend the meetings, those that call in and voice their concerns, especially that 3-minute in the beginning. It's not long enough. But we get the point across, and we just keep going up until we get the point across. Our community has a lot to be proud of, most of which are sitting right here. Your voice, your opinions, they matter. Whether it goes to a vote or not, who's going to pay for it, those are all questions that have to be answered. What ballot question is going to be put on? That has to be answered. But you don't have a mission statement. You have no real solid purpose. You have to have goals. A business doesn't survive without goals and standards of operation. This town's had responsibilities, one of which was we did what the town of Pahrump was going to be in 1992. From 1992 on, that mission statement and none of the goals were ever met or ever rediscussed. It was just a piece of paper. I have a copy of that entire book telling what the responsibilities were going to be for the town of Pahrump. Be careful what you ask for. Be sure what you're asking for. And get it to where everybody agrees to what you want. Because when all of you talk, and all of you sit there and agree, that's a great feeling, because now you've got something done. But be careful how you do this. There's a lot of naysayers out there, and they're right. Our town board made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes, and they cost us a lot of money. And those obligations aren't done. There's still litigation out there that they're still fighting because they broke contracts. They didn't do what they were supposed to do. And that's for the judges to decide. But there's still obligations out there that the town board has not settled. And those mistakes can't be repeated. You need to have a direction, you need to have a plan. A good manager, you're not going to find a good manager for anything under 150, 200,000. At 47% benefits package currently there, you're looking at $250,000 for a manager per year. Okay? How many of you gone to the commissioners and said, hey, where's your direction? What are you doing? What are you doing for the town of Pahrump? How many of you done that? I'm at least 2-3 times a week repeating what the constituents say to me. My phone doesn't stop ringing. Every time something comes before the Regional Planning Commission, we go out and we investigate everything. Because I represent all of you. And I won't rubber stamp anything. And we better not rubber stamp this issue. Do our research, come up with a plan, and let's go forward with it. I'm not saying that you're supposed to vote for it. I'm just saying know what you're voting for and know what you want. Because right now I don't see a solid road plan. I don't want another level of government that has no direction of where to go and doesn't follow what it had for a plan. 1992 to now, never been updated. It's still the same document that was created in 1992, a vision that was never kept. Arlie, it's yours.
Well, thank you for remaining. Some people left, some people had to. It's kind of interesting listening to these comments because they are focused on one side. That's what people's natural tendency is, to kind of focus on one side or the other. Few people actually have the ability to look at something from the center and see both sides equally. If we do what a lot of you people say, less government is better, and our forefathers sure made one hell of a mistake fighting England, didn't they? Less government's better, not self-representation. That's not good, right? Less government's better. Well, apparently our history doesn't share your thoughts. The county's budget years ago, when I looked, was around $150 million. So all you people keep talking about, oh, it'll cost more money. Yeah, way more money than when I looked at it years ago. And anyway, the question is not so much how much you're paying into this government, it's what are you getting back? I said that we have a population in this county about 3,000 less than Carson City. Little history lesson. Carson used to be Ormsby County, but way back when it's some kind of a thing I can't quite explain it. You call it Carson City, but it means the whole area there, not just the town itself. You all happy with our hospital? Well, you probably don't understand business maybe, but a hospital can't provide services that don't pay for themselves. So don't be surprised when you go there that it really ends up being a triage place and then you got to go to Vegas afterward to get the real treatment. It all boils down to dollars. And this is a really poor community. As I said, we're the 5th biggest population in Nevada and we're number 15 out of 17 counties in money. We have gold mines. We have an opportunity across the road there in Vegas to bring people here for business. Some people say, oh, we're off the beaten track. Really? Well, Tesla built a battery plant way up east of Carson City in Reno, and they don't seem to have any trouble getting employees and getting rid of those batteries and putting a lot of people to work. Our county hasn't gone after nothing. Oh, I love this one. Oh, go to the county commissioner meetings and they'll listen to you. Oh, really? Let's see. I went there a while back, not too long ago, for a 10 a.m. scheduled meeting. Well, 9 hours later, when Strickland was head of the board over there, she finally calls that item up because, see, they wanted to slam dunk it through. They figured that, most people would give up after 9 hours of waiting. I got up there, and when my 3 minutes was up, I got cut off really rudely. I wasn't belligerent. I wasn't rude. I had stuff to say about something happening in my neighborhood. Well, she let other people speak longer because they were on the Amargosa board and so on. So those people had a little more say-so on what was going to also affect them. So that's part of the answer to your question. What do we need a town board for? To represent you, that's what it's for. There's so much more, I could go on and on and on, but everything that was said, there's another side of the story. Stop focusing on the one side. And as someone said earlier, and that's a really great thing, what are you so afraid of that it's on a ballot and people can vote? And I'm sick of hearing people say, we don't want that. No, that just means you don't want it. Look, how many people live in this town? And how many are here? So you don't represent everybody when you go with this big we word. Just put it on a ballot to answer those questions. What's it for? What's the town board going to do? That'll all come out during the time. When the ballot is successful and it's going to be put on there, there'll be plenty of more meetings to get your answers. And get your neighbors to come out here. It's their future too. And children, I got 3 kids, all college educated, but they had to go somewhere else to get an education. They got to go somewhere else to get a job. That's not a successful community. It exports its young. When I used to run for state office, it was kind of funny. In Nevada, by the way, gaming and mining pays less in taxes than anywhere else on the planet. So when I was going for state senator, as an example, and I went up to Elko and stuff, and I said, we need to tax them more. Leave our mines alone. Well, I guess you don't mind that Nevada ranks at the very bottom in education and health care, the 2 most important things to get a business to come to your area, and Nye County even ranks at the bottom of the counties in Nevada. So I don't know why you're all supportive of commissioners who have a track record in the 31 years I've been here and haven't done much for you except waste your money. For those that don't know, Nye County got $55 million lump sum payment equal to taxes. And they were only going to spend the interest. Well, they nickel and dime every one of those $55 million away. Show me something they did with it. And then every year for decades, they were getting $11 million a year. What did they do with that? Show me something. Nothing. No, yeah, they pave roads. They tear up. I've been driving down the same dirt road for 30 years. My neighbor's been driving down it for 40 years. And they pave roads all right. They tear up a paved road just to repave it again. Because any moron knows that any paved road, the worst of paved roads, is better than any perfectly graded dirt road. And what is the purpose of grading, by the way? To control dust. We breathe dust that has Agent Orange in it, by the way, because they used it on the cotton crops here back in the 70s. So anyway, I could go on and on. You know, like I said, people have a tendency to focus on one side. Sometimes I feel like I'd rather talk to that wall. It'd be a lot less frustrating. Who wants this thing?
I just want to thank everybody for coming out today and giving us your ideas on what you think that we're doing. I hope that we answered some of your questions. We will have more info out on the web and on television and radio and in print. Have a good night and thank you very much.
Thank you.